fix myself. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I go by the name of Canary Cheese, and you are now tuned into the Popularity Pod, where you either popular before you get here or popular when you leave. There is no in between. Today, we're going to have the biggest interview. We just coming out shooting. Today, we're going to have the biggest interview. Look, y'all see who on the screen already, y'all. We're not playing around. Please, young lady, introduce yourself for the people that don't know who you are.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joan Hunt, and I'm the Executive Director of the Greater Hudson Promise neighborhood.
Shout out to Promise.
Shout out to Promise. See, that's what happens when you know some Promise staff. The good Promise staff touch. You get an emergency expedited interview immediately. Yo,
Yeah.
Joni, thank you for giving us your time. We appreciate it, honestly. Welcome to the Popularity Pod. Like I just told you, we were supposed to have the cameras, but I ain't going to say who. I mean, we were supposed to have the flowers, but I ain't going to say who forgot the flowers. I'm blaming it on you. So. All right, cool. Joni, I don't know if you know Cheese. This is the barbershop, of course. We do a podcast out of here, but just so happened that you are somebody that we want to get a hold of because you do excellent things in the city of Hudson, and it's amazing for you to even say yeah for the interview. Thank you up front. Now, boom, how we coming up? How did you start Promise? How did Promise even come about?
I'll go back a little bit further just to talk about when I started working in Hudson and that whole journey. But first, thanks for having me. This is great that you guys are doing this, giving folks a platform to come and share whatever they're doing and their highlights and get some, some praise and recognition for that. So thank you. I look forward to seeing who else you bring on. So I started working in Hudson actually as a senior in high school. I went to Hawthorne Valley, sort of an outlier. But I did a senior project where I worked at the Boys and Girls Club when I was 17 or 18. And I started a music program. And that's really how I started working in Hudson and getting to know families and just really fell in love with the work. Like I loved working in this community and with the kids and families that lived here. Then I moved away, went to to school in the city.
NYU?
I went to NYU for my undergrad.
I studied for this interview, yeah.
And I went to Hunter for my master's. And then I came back to Hudson right around the time that they received the Promise Neighborhood Planning Grant. This was in 2011. And I didn't really know much about it other than what at the time Barack Obama was trying to do in communities all across the country. So he was really inspired by this place in Harlem called the Harlem Children's Zone, where they were doing incredible work in 100 blocks in Harlem with kids and families and trying to break like the generational cycles of poverty and have kids reach their full potential and be successful and go to college or find a career that was meaningful to them. So I came back and I was talking to some folks that I still had relationships with, like Tyrone.
Shout out to Uncle Tyke again. Uncle Tyke, yo, Tyke, you got to pull up, Tyke, because this is the second time your name came up in 2 weeks, Tyke. You got to pull up.
Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, I'm back because you guys know of any jobs or anything in this field. And that's how I heard about this, like, Promise Neighborhood thing and that it was based on the Harlem Children's Zone. I knew about that because I used to work in Harlem, so I was like, okay. And so that's how I got connected to it. It was already here, so I didn't start it, but I'll talk about how.
Great clarification.
As far as I know of,
the face of it. Joni is the face of Promise Neighborhood. Joni is the face of it to us.
Came and did.
So thank you for clarifying that. A lot of people that's gonna watch this are gonna understand. So that was great. That was great information for us to have you here.
Sure.
So the people that's gonna watch that, they honestly, there's no. Like I said, there's no one I don't think that's walking around unless they know and they were a part of the story. Mm-hmm. But I don't think no one knows that Joni didn't start Promise. We all know that you're the first. Sorry.
Technically, Barack Obama started Promise because
shout out Barack. Shout out Barack. Joni came off Barack bounce pass. Yeah.
He started Promise neighborhoods all across the country.
Okay, so there's other Promise neighborhoods.
Other Promise neighborhoods. I won't say they're as active as we are.
Okay. Let's talk about talk your shit, Joni. There's no Promise like Joni Promise. Talk your shit. Talk your stuff,
our kids
girl.
Love us at Promise.
Talk your
but
stuff,
they're all
girl.
based on like the same framework, which is cradle to college to career. Right?
Okay.
This idea of building
3 stages.
Yeah, like this pipeline, right? Because like when kids come into the world, right, we know they're not all born with equal opportunities.
That's
right?
a fact.
People born into poverty and hardships, etc. What we have to do is try to build a pipeline, like a pipeline of support, so that they have the same opportunities as other people, right? Born into that. So that's the whole premise behind it, and the idea of it being different for different places is a big part of it. So like our promise neighborhood looks different than the promise neighborhood in San Francisco or, another larger urban area. But it's unique. It's unique to each community, and you build on the strengths and you would try to address the needs that exist. But yeah, so that's how it started. It started as a grant under Obama's Department of Ed at the time. But then they were like, all right, here's this money, start this promise neighborhood, but we're not giving you any more money. Like, if you want to make this work in your community, figure it out. So after 2 years, we lost all the federal money went away. And they were like, all right, well, if you want to keep this going, you have to raise the money. And so we went from like this $500,000 federal grant to $0 overnight. But I was like, no. We are not letting this go because
you ever lost $500,000 overnight?
No, I mean, we obviously spent it over 2 years. It's not like they took it away.
But the whole grant itself was gone.
Yeah, they just said, like, after this time, you have to figure it out. So, like, we went from $500,000 grant to, like, a grassroots organization pretty much overnight, and had to start building up and raising our funds. And so we've made a lot of growth over the past 11 years, started a lot of programs, hired staff, and I can talk more about that, but you had a question, Josh.
Oh, no, I was just wondering what's some of the positive things Promise Neighborhood has done over the past few years?
Good question. So it's interesting, like, our model was always really neighborhood driven, like trying to be in the community that we were serving, right? Like responding to the needs that we saw every day. Josh knows, like there's always stuff that comes up and we're like, how can we jump in? How can we help out? How can we? And a lot of times our programs grew organically out of that. It's not like we were going to start an after school program. Kids just kept showing up, like more and more kids and more kids. And then
I was one
we
of
started
those
feeding. You
so
were.
So
we started like feeding them.
To start the after school program.
And not that we didn't want to, but like that wasn't when we opened our storefront on 2nd Street. Like kids just kept showing up, more kids, more kids, and all of a sudden it was like the hangout spot.
Yeah, it was where we felt loved and somebody cared for us.
And so we bought the PlayStations and we get, like just trying to make it a space where kids wanted to come. We fed kids, like, and that was the beginning of our after school program where Josh now works. So
shout out to Josh. Shout out to Promise. My son always be here right after Promise, right after work.
Yeah, so that's just one example. Like that is, it was addressing the need for after school, like programs in like key transitional periods where like parents were working and there was some after school programs, but some kids wanted to be not at the school all day in a different setting. So we wanted to host like a, and some kids like the boys club and like open rec and stuff, and some like a smaller setting. So like we're just trying to figure out how we fill that specific gap. So now we still, our after school program's going strong. We have like 20 to 25 kids every day. But there are so many other programs and moments throughout. I don't think people realize really what we do at Promise beyond like the
kids and after school program.
Yeah.
Like you guys are community guys too, right?
Yeah.
Promise is definitely for the community of Hudson.
Quick question. Is Promise connected with the universal base income, or is that just Joni herself?
No. So Promise is it's one of our initiatives. We administer the Hudson Up Universal Basic Income Program. So that's another example. That is where 128 people in Hudson are receiving $500 a month for 5 years, unrestricted cash. Like no string attached.
Shout out to Promise, man.
Listen, I'm gonna lead back. Only reason I asked that question because Joni, like I told you off camera, I seen Joni. I don't know if you guys pay attention to the news, but Promise did something amazing. Childhood friend of mine, Patrice Welch, passed away unexpectedly maybe last year in 2022. 3 weeks ago, or maybe last month maybe, I seen Joni on the news at 11 p.m. with Patrice's mom, and just so happened that the universal base income came right back around in full circle. So I honestly dropped a tear because I felt a special place in my heart for Joni. No one knew anything about that. The world came and we noticed that on the news. Maybe you did know, but that right there, that was a ace in the hole, and that was just a blessing. And for Patrice's mom to be on the news and say it just touched her whole life, it was amazing. So thank you, and the
Thank
way you
you.
set that program up. So the universal base income is $500
For 5 years,
5 years, every month, $500 a month, right?
no strings attached.
No
Yeah.
strings attached.
Yo, we're gonna blow this interview up. The barbershop about to get universal base income. We're gonna swing this full sledge. I holla. We're not looking for that.
But if I could talk a little bit more about that.
Please,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
To the families that
People-
don't know,
People
seriously.
don't realize too about that is this was an idea that Dr. Martin Luther King had.
I seen it as well, a part of the
60+ years
passage.
ago. And so he called for a guaranteed income for people. Like every
Regardless,
month,
no strings
with
attached.
no strings attached, everybody gets a certain amount of funds. And I don't know if you remember the guy, Andrew Yang, that ran for president, but he was
Nah.
like, every American should get $1,000 a month. Like,
Oh,
no
yeah,
strings
I do
attached.
remember hearing that. I do remember.
So Andrew Yang, the whole way that we started Hudson Up was because Andrew Yang started a foundation called Humanity Forward, and him and the funders behind Hudson Up, the Spark of Hudson, and the Utopia Foundation got together and said, we want to partner and make this happen in Hudson. And they loved Hudson because the size, the scale, like you can feel an impact here differently than you can in, like a larger city.
A
It's
larger
more
city,
concentrated.
right.
And so they were the folks that just paid off the medical debt at Columbia
At Columbia
Memorial.
Green.
The
Shout out to
same
them for that.
funders
That was
that
dope.
did that. So
Hospital bills.
yeah, they're doing a lot of really positive things here, and so
Yeah.
they
Shout
really
out to them.
believed in this idea of basic income, guaranteed income, and so we're the lucky ones that get to administer the
Administer
program,
it,
make it
point it out,
happen.
okay.
But I want to also say, for clarification, I have nothing to do with
With
who
the name
gets
picking.
picked.
With the name picking. I
Oh,
knew it.
it's
That was
a
that was
lottery.
coming. That was coming because
Kamal,
it's
Mayor Johnson also has nothing to do with who gets picked,
I'm a
despite the
favorite.
rumor.
when
I
y'all
wish
watch,
I
when y'all
got-
click
I
this
wish
and
I
y'all share
got
this,
picked.
understand the boss lady, the CEO of Promise has nothing to do with the name picking.
Yeah.
I'm
Just to
waiting for
clarify
round
that.
3.
So we work with an outside, either a university or a researcher that runs the lottery. There's a whole algorithm for how the lottery works. It's a weighted lottery system. So folks that have less chance of reaching median income in their life because of race, income, gender, they're actually given a higher chance of being picked
Oh, that's
in our
cool.
lottery.
That's
Fire,
dope.
yeah, that's
That's
dope. That's fire.
And so the reason we didn't advertise or you didn't know about the situation with Patrice previously is because we keep the confidential, like the privacy of the participants.
Even if you don't want to talk about it on
No,
camera.
no, it's fine. No, it's fine
even
because
if you
it's
don't
out
want
there
to.
now in the
Which
media,
makes
so we don't
sense.
talk about it. But like,
Even if you don't
It
want
makes
to.
sense though.
yeah,
It
we
definitely
don't
makes sense.
share who's in the pilot unless they choose to disclose themselves
Disclose it.
because like it's almost in a way like winning the lottery. Like if you know somebody has that extra $500,
Right. You
a
want
month,
to
it's
reach out,
like,
yo, I need to borrow $20 for gas
Right.
this week because you got that extra $500.
Yeah,
y'all.
that's a fact.
I need to borrow $40.
People
Yeah.
think you got it easy.
So
just
we do
'cause you
protect the
can.
privacy of all the participants unless they choose to disclose themselves. That's up to them.
Okay.
Right.
Now that we've been talking on Promise, what's your future like? What's the future for
Future?
Promise?
What's the future of
your
Promise?
Goals,
Yeah, so-
expectations.
I will say that the organization has grown more than I could have ever imagined. Our budget's now over $2 million a year. We
Okay.
started at 0. So we've grown a lot. A lot of that, I will say that funding is specific to the Hudson Up program. So like that money's coming in and it's going out directly to people.
Okay.
But we've grown, like our early learning program is growing. We have dreams and aspirations. I know you have close connections with the Hudson Daycare Center. We have dreams and aspirations of
How
one
you
day.
know that, Joni? That's
I
my
sh-
grandma. How you know
I
that?
know.
Yo, Joni did her homework. How she know about Patty Ann, y'all? All right, cool. All right.
We would love to one day open our own like early learning
Daycare.
daycare center, because we know there's a huge need for it, but we also want to honor the legacy of Hudson Daycare Center and support them in whatever way we can. But yeah, so we've grown a lot, right? And I think we want to continue growing, right, as an
definitely.
organization and meeting the needs of the community, because the ultimate goal is to work ourselves out of a job, right? If you talk about like the future, like we would love to not to have to exist one day, right?
That's a
the
fact. Everybody taken care of.
Right. Everybody's good, right? That's the dream. So we know that's not happening right now, but that is the goal. to one day be able to work ourselves out of a job. But
That's a fact.
until then, we will continue to grow, to increase our programming, provide people with meaningful job opportunities.
You keep looking at me. I'm coming. I'm going to fill out my application. What you talking about? I'm coming. I'll be right down there right now after the interview.
Another thing, I don't know if Josh wants to talk about this, but we recently started a GED program called
that's fire.
Beyond GED, which is
Facts.
GED and workforce development together. So we actually pay the participants to get their GED. So while they're studying, they're getting compensated for their time while they're studying. So Josh, I don't know if you want to speak to that at all.
Oh yeah, shout out to any man out here or any woman out here, young lady out here without their high school diploma and out here looking to get a GED, get in contact with Joan Hunt. Facts, because I definitely was one lost out here, and she definitely helped me grab mine, gave me the motivation and support to go grab my GED, which is something I needed.
We don't got the joint working,
He
but
did that.
this what Joni did. Woo, yeah, you know that little thing that we got over here is not working right now, but she get hers. We were supposed to have the flowers, Josh. We'd have had the flowers. She could have been smelling her bouquet right now.
Josh did that, but I think we have to recognize that there are some kids that will not succeed in the traditional educational setting. They just won't for many reasons, right? And there has to be somewhere where they can go to still be able to make those next steps, right?
Comfortably and in their own,
in their own time, how they're comfortable. And Josh was incredible. Like, he passed his GED in like this.
When I tried and actually put my mind to it,
right.
It happened so easy. I should have got it done.
Right. But sometimes you just need that extra
push.
Support,
the kids
motivation.
don't have the extra. It's crazy because I know, but I know how close you guys are off camera. But it's like if you probably gave him the push that he needs, or it's the extra spark, and kids don't have that. I'm like, you see how you smiling and it's touching your heart right now? Seriously, because
he
I
probably thinks I'm the most annoying person ever. But he knows I have his best interest.
In the back of his mind, he probably loves Joan to death because all of the things and all of the opportunities that you put in front of my brother.
I seen her not just outside of me. I seen her give the same actions to another kid,
other people, right?
Other people out there. You feel me?
So
She's just that kind of person. Just that kind of person, and that's why I'll always adore Joan Hunt.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Go ahead, finish.
I just feel lucky to honestly do what I do every day because
that's why we wanted you here. It's nobody else. You could be anywhere in America, not to cut you. You could be anywhere in America. And y'all, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. We messed up 25 minutes off camera, and she still was jacking us. So I appreciate you highly. She didn't leave. She didn't walk out. She stuck around for the popularity pod because she was popular before she got here, and she's gonna be a little extra popular when she leave. Fucking with me and Wallace tonight. You heard? Joni, thank you. I know your time is very limited, so thank you.
Yeah,
is there anything? What's the future of Promise? We already talked about that. What's the future for Joni?
Shout out on got a community cleanup this year.
Oh yes,
let's do that. Yes, definitely. Listen, make sure you got my shirt for me. I'm
Josh's favorite event of the year.
Community cleanup. Talk about it.
Community cleanup is our next big event. So many of you probably know Promise for like our block parties and some of the events that we do. Shout out to Cheese.
Look, I was gonna swing the block party after this one. You was going there.
So we host several community building events throughout the year. One of them is our cleanup, which is this the 26th of May. That's a Thursday. You might have to double check for me. Maybe the 25th.
Somewhere
25th of May, which is a Thursday. Rain date is the 26th. We meet on the corner of Warren and Front Street, and we send out teams throughout the city. Hurd's participated for many years. He always wants to make sure his T-shirt is reserved.
Shout out to
Hurd. Shout out to Mr. Hurd. 1352. 1352, young man.
And so, yeah, we send out teams, volunteer teams throughout the city. You can be a team of 1 or you can be a team of 15. It doesn't matter.
We're going out with the dogs. What we doing?
Make sure y'all out here for the community cleanup.
What we doing, y'all? We going out with the dogs and we want 5th and State. We outside and we cleaning up the whole 5th and State.
Yeah, it's just a great way to like come together as a community, do something positive.
Definitely.
It's like in spring, so it's nice out. So that's one event we love to do. And then the block party.
The block party. Please, let's discuss the block party right quick while we have you here.
Okay,
Please open that up just so the people that's watching and tell them exactly how they can get a vendor or maybe a spot or how can they volunteer and sponsor the block party because it's people that's going to be bigger than me. So how can you sponsor the block party? How can you be involved in the block party?
Sure. So shout out to Annette Perry.
10419.
She was our an incredible organizer of the block party last year, and she had the idea of bringing in vendors, which was the first time we'd ever had vendors. Usually everything at the block party is free, but we wanted to give some local businesses the opportunity to set up and also give like more variety in terms of food. Like we always have hot dogs, hamburgers, and stuff like that for free, but if people wanted to, they could, purchase something different. So we're gonna do that again for sure. So if there's anyone that wants to set up, and have a booth or sell food, reach out. We have the block party date is set to, if you don't mind, I'm gonna look at my phone. So
get right.
The wrong date.
Tell us what's going on. Tell us what about these kiddos at Promise. Tell us about all the stuff that you got going on in the next 9 minutes.
Let's see. So the block party is going to be August 25th.
Good date.
Oh wait, whoa.
Scratch that,
Sorry.
guys. Scratch that, guys.
The 19th. What am I talking about?
August
It's the
19th,
third
guys.
Saturday in August. It's the 19th.
August 19th, Promise Neighborhood Block Party.
Yeah.
Make sure you did.
So-
Oh, my son, yo. My son need a bag from Promise, straight up. Son, the way he be out here shouting out Promise, I don't care that the boss is right next to him. My son need a bag, Promise. My son need a nice little stipend. He gonna have all types of Promise clothes on the podcast, all that. Right, my son a little, thanks, man. All right.
Yeah.
Who I got call over there? Boy, who I got call?
Nah,
I don't want to say the wrong
that's a
name. You
different-
feel me? I don't want to say the wrong
different-
name. Who I got
Yeah,
call
we
over?
ain't gonna go deep
Promise.
into the paycheck. You feel me? We're not gonna do that.
Oh my gosh.
Promise.
Yeah,
Shout out to
so-
Promise though for sure.
Promise neighborhood. Y'all heard the beginning of the interview, right? This shit bigger than us right now. So we got the big lady right next to me on the left, right here, y'all. But she's small when she comes around us. You feel me? She's small.
Yeah, so anyway, that's community cleanup coming up, block party.
Yes.
And then every January, which just passed, we did our MLK Day of Service, which is a day
What does
on,
that
not a day
consist of?
off. So in the spirit of Dr. Martin Luther King and his, many acts of service, we honor him by actually doing something that day, which is positive in the community, as opposed to taking the day off, right?
Yeah,
So
we wake up and go to work.
we get up and go and do something positive. So this past year was our first bigger community MLK Day of service, and we did a community breakfast, which was open to the public, and then we did we assembled I think over 100 hygiene kits, and we distributed them to folks in the motels and other places. Excuse me.
Have a nice bottle of water there, man.
Oh, thank you. I might need it.
See? Coming clutch.
So those are 3 key ones, and then we always are looking for help around the holidays. Like we do toy drives and get gifts out to everyone. We also run visiting programs at the jail, and so we work a lot with children of incarcerated parents, and so making sure they have a nice Christmas and stuff. So
Whole lot of cool
Something
stuff.
I forget. I had something in my mind. I'm not even gonna play
A
myself.
whole lot of cool stuff Promise Neighborhood do for the community. The free ACs over the summer.
that's right. That's another
But that's
thing.
what I was about to say. I know something that she did to me, and I know
That's
it's
a-
something in my head that she did, bro.
That is all Adolfo. He gets the full shout out. And
Shout out to Adolfo.
Josh
Shout out
helps
to Adolfo.
deliver some
Yeah,
ACs this summer.
See,
definitely.
look. Now look who they pointing at again. The co-host of the popularity pod. Yo, I'm gonna talk. All right, you want me to tell you how to do it, or you want to get it right now?
Nah, we don't do
Alright,
it right
cool.
now. Shout out Adolfo Lopez, another
There you go.
Promise guy. He do a lot for the community. You have a lot of love for the kids in the community, man. Definitely gotta get Adolfo on the show. Hope you're watching this and get out here, man.
Adolfo is my right, my left,
That's
my
fire.
everything. Really, and he'll tell his story when he comes on here about how we met and stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't wanna
Adolfo,
give it
look,
away,
she just plugged you right
but-
there, Adolfo. Let's figure it out. Let's
He is
figure out how we're gonna get you
literally-
here.
He's the backbone of the organization, and he's grown so much. And he just embodies everything that Promise is about. So I really hope you do bring him on here because he's great.
Oh, what you mean? You see how Josh has got you? You gonna just send a text. If they want you over there next Friday at this time, he gonna listen to the lady in his partner.
Yeah,
He gonna listen to his partner.
Yes,
Question. You like basketball?
love basketball.
You do.
You already know
or NBA?
this.
WNBA or NBA?
Can't
Because we
leave
have this.
popularity
We have
behind.
we have the iconic questions where we either ask you 2 stars and you either answer one.
Boy.
You answer one. So when you answer, it's either 1 or 2, or you take a shot. I think I explained it wrong.
I'm not drinking.
I explained you don't have to drink
take
your
a
shot of water.
water.
Exactly. So, boom, I named 2 stars. You either pick one of them, or if it's both, we take a baby swig of water.
Okay, fine. NBA, not WNBA.
All right, NBA. Josh, what we doing? You gonna read them off for me? I read them off last time. Where they at?
How many we doing?
Iconic questions. I got too much notes in here. This ain't cool.
Yeah, you got it from me.
Because it's at the top, that's why. What in God's name?
LeBron or Michael Jordan?
What in God's name?
We're gonna start there. We gonna start hot.
Oh man.
And me knowing the type of person you are, I think I know your answer.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan?
Yep.
What?
Michael Jordan over the King?
You wanna know why I would think your answer? I would have thought your answer was LeBron. And me, the reason why I thought you, because like I feel like LeBron is more active with like the world than Michael Jordan was. Like he opened schools.
But I was thinking strictly basketball.
Oh, okay, my bad. That's me.
Now, if you would have said as a whole person, maybe. But Michael Jordan did just give.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
million
Yeah, I seen that. To charity,
LeBron
right?
James don't
Yeah.
own no jails.
To make a way.
I'm off of Michael Jordan. LeBron don't own no prisons. I'm off of Mike. LeBron is the leading scorer in NBA history. That's cool. He don't got his name attached to owning no prisons.
But she said basketball. She said
strictly.
basketball.
I'm on basketball stuff.
Oh yeah, basketball. 6 rings.
I'm on
6 for
basketball
6.
stuff. I found my list, Miss Hunt. Ready? I'm ready. I'm about to spark you right now. You ready?
Okay.
AI or T-Mac?
Who?
AI or T-Mac?
Oh, AI all day. I'm
Tim
a
Duncan
huge
or-
Sixer fan. What did you say?
Tim Duncan or Kevin Garnett?
Tim Duncan.
Ray Allen or Reggie Miller?
Ray Allen.
Steve Nash or Jason Kidd?
Jason Kidd.
Derrick Rose or Chris Paul?
I'm gonna say Chris Paul only because I
That
feel
ring
he
coming
played
this
more.
year. That ring coming. Don't worry. That
I
ring
feel like
gonna be.
he played more.
Joel Embiid or Jokic?
Embiid.
Mutombo or Elijah Wan?
Mutombo.
Paul Pierce or Paolo Banchero?
Paul Pierce.
Carmelo Anthony or Paul George?
Carmelo.
Kawhi Leonard or
Duffel would
Grant
kill
Hill?
me.
Word, I'm gonna get you.
Kawhi Leonard or Grant Hill?
Again, Kawhi because I feel like he has played more.
Nah, then Grant Hill?
Yeah, Grant Hill was injuries all day. All
Kawhi
day.
Leonard or Grant Hill?
Kawhi Leonard.
I had to ask you 2 times right quick. Kyrie or Ja Morant? Ooh, got it, Josh.
I would say John Morant.
Kevin Durant or Dirk Nowitzki?
How much?
KD.
Oh, okay.
But your question right here, Josh. Luka or Magic Johnson?
She gonna say.
I'm gonna have to say Luka.
Hey, that's my son. Hey, yeah, Luka Doncic.
Julius Randle or Ben Simmons?
Julius Randle.
God damn it, Ben Simmons trash.
Yeah, but nobody picking Ben in these questions.
Rajon Rondo or Trae Young?
Rondo.
Ron Artest or Dennis Rodman?
Are we talking all around basketball? Or
That's what you
just-
said.
you're-
You're going
you're-
off of what you said at the beginning when you came with this Michael Jordan
No,
LeBron
like-
shit. So whatever you're going to answer it,
We're
answer
talking
like
their
that.
whole game, right? Like,
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah, basketball.
Your opinion.
Ron Artest, crazy man, 90.
Oh, I know Ron Artest very well. I grew up
Dennis
watching.
Rodman, a lot of chips.
No, I know, but like I'm thinking defense and then all around. You know, like
you
this
feel
is
it
tough.
all
This is
around.
Dennis Rodman had mad rebounds in one game,
I
bro.
know,
I don't even
like-
remember how many he had.
I have to say Dennis Rodman. Yep.
Dennis Rodman, you already answered the last one, Black Mamba or the King. No, you did.
No, that wasn't the question.
Black Mamba or the King? Who you going with? This is the last one. I should have walked you into this one. Black Mamba or the King on your way out the door?
That's not fair.
Yes,
That
it
question,
is. That's
no,
the,
it's
that,
not.
yes, it is.
I mean,
yes, it
yeah,
is.
I
That's
mean,
why it's
like,
last.
I
Yes,
understand
it
you
is.
feel. I know.
Oh, look,
You
she's
took
sipping
him
on the
over-
low. She's sipping on the low. She
took-
took her sip on the low.
You took Jordan.
That's her
over
two
LeBron.
answers. That's the answer, I think. She took her
So
sip.
you don't want to take LeBron over Kobe? It's okay.
It's not.
Don't feel
See,
bad
she's
because he
sipping
passed
again. That's
away.
the
I
answer.
do.
That's what I say. I know Jody. She feel bad because Cole passed
'Cause he's
away and
gone.
all that. She, you feel me? She like,
Yep,
you feel me?
plead
What
the
if
fifth on
Vanessa Bryan is watching this
Right,
now?
right.
Like, you feel me? Like,
No, I can't answer
I
that.
feel better. I got my questions out the way. I go by the name of Canary Cheese. You are now tuned into the Popularity Pod, where you either popular before you get here or popular when you leave. But I think our special guest tonight, she came, she
Yeah.
saw, and she conquered this interview. We appreciate you so much. Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having
stopping
me.
by.
Thanks for having me.
of course, Joan.
Josh,
All right.
one last thing. For a 14-year-old girl watching you right now, what can you tell her? What would you tell a 14-year-old that looks up to you right now and watches every move that Joni does? What would you tell her?
Find something that you love to do, and try to lean into that, and follow that passion. Because if you wake up every day dreading going to work or just going through the motions, it's really hard to find your purpose and like be motivated to push beyond that, right? So that would be my advice. I was